Prior to the break, we have seen the concept of static in detail, and we have completed the topic called as static and the packages. Now let us go ahead to the next topic, which is called as array, and we will also see introduction to enum, right? So before proceeding ahead, have we created here a different project? Yeah, so I'll close this. I hope everyone knows how to do the correct practice. Please make sure whenever you are working on, whenever you clone the data, after cloning, please make sure you open the file, whatever the code file is. Maybe day 5 may you want to practice 5_3. Go inside it, go inside the source folder, go to package P1, and this is the Java file. Open it with Notepad. Never open my created projects in Eclipse. In Eclipse, you should always go for creating your own projects and practice that. That's the correct way of practicing, right? So I'll create a new class day 5_5. Maybe I'll give a package name as P1, or you can keep it in default. So before proceeding ahead in topic called as array, I want to know, have you ever heard about the concept called as array? Right. So can you please tell me some definition points or any concept that you know with respect to array in C or in C++? It is basically a continuous memory allocation. Okay. For elements of similar type of data, right? And or we can say collection of elements of similar type of data. So here the memory is allocated continuously in a contiguous way. And in this case, we say in Java also, the basic definition remains the same. When you were in C and C++, you might have created, let us say, array of 5 like this, correct? This was called as static memory allocation. Why it is static? It is because when you are declaring an ARR, it is called as name of an array. You are saying 5, it is having the size as 5, and it gets allocated before the compilation process. Or whenever you compile the code, the memory gets allocated. Size is fixed. You cannot change the size at runtime of an array. That's the reason it is called as static memory allocation. Somewhere in C or C++, you also have heard about malloc. You also have heard about new. This was used when you want to allocate the memory dynamically. So there can be a dynamic memory allocation with respect to arrays in case of C or C++ also. In case of Java, I'll first go ahead with the basic syntax of an array so that it will be easy for you to understand. Suppose I want to create an array. So I will give ARR, I'll give square brackets is equal to, I'll say new integer, and I will pass, let us say 4. So what this means, this is the syntax, one syntax for creation of array in Java. Let us try to understand what this means. In Java, array always goes in a dynamic way. So memory is allocated dynamically to an array. So what is this int? It is nothing but the data type for which you want to go for an array. What is this ARR? ARR is nothing but name of an array. Name of an array. And this subscripts, this square brackets, is called as subscripts. Subscript is basically given for indexing. When you say for indexing, it means I have to say array of 0, array of 1, array of 2, and so on. So square brackets is an indication for the compiler. ARR is not a single variable, but ARR is an of-type array. Then, when I'm saying a new keyword, which is basically used for allocation of a memory dynamically. So dynamically, memory is allocated. New is a keyword, right? Once again, this is the syntax part. You have to mention the type of an array. So this is one, again, a data type. मेरा जो memory allocation भी है, वो भी int type का होना चाहिए. And finally, you have something called as this 4. which indicates the size of an array. Now, how the internal allocation is done, let us observe. There is one ARR which actually holds 4 memory allocations. Why 4? Because I have mentioned the size of an array as 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Here in this case, this is called as ARR. Can you please tell me here, ARR is actually pointing to this memory location where ARR will hold the first base address, and that is, if anything is holding the base address, then this is basically called as which kind of a variable? A reference variable. Is it okay? Next, the first element is treated as ARR of 0. The second element is treated as ARR of 1. The third element is ARR of 2. And the fourth element is array of 3. The array indexing in Java, array indexing starts from 0. The starting location is also called as base address, which is holded by the array name, which is also called as reference in Java. Have you understood the 3 points? Everyone. This you might be aware about, but as I'm considering, I always start from the basics. So that's the reason I've explained this point too. Did you all get up to this point, the introduction about arrays? Right. So let us quickly write. This is array. Right. So here, if I'm saying a reference, it will be normally in which area? Obviously in the stack area. What about this whole area? This will be the heap area. Okay? जैसे आपने object बनाया था, ये वैसे ही concept है. Right. Now, if you can just recollect, there are some valid and invalid declarations that you have seen in C programming. Array को हम जब declare करते हैं, तो कुछ valid declarations रहती है, कुछ invalid रहती है. You cannot go for it. In Java also same thing happens. But the point over here is Java does not allocate any garbage value to the array elements. Whatever size of an array that you need in your program, you have to be specific about it. If you pass some elements beyond the array index, in that case, it will give you array index out of bounds exception. So I will prove all these points. Let us first talk about array declarations. Let us say I'm writing array ARR1 initially is equal to null. Is it a valid statement? Yes, this is a valid statement. The reason is ARR1 is one array type who can hold int type of a data. But initially ARR1 is a reference. Can we initialize ARR1 with a null? Yes. So in this case, it is a valid. Next, on the similar lines, if you put here square brackets and you say ARR of 2 is equal to null. Is it a valid statement? Yes, this is also a valid statement. If you precede name of an array and square brackets or square brackets and name of the array, one and the same thing. If you just write here like this, this is also a valid statement. Correct. When I say integer ARR of 3 and I'm saying new integer of 4 elements, this is also a valid array statement where I'm saying I have created array 3 of size 4. Next, but if you say I am going to put this ARR4 and I'm saying null, this is invalid. It is going to give you a JavaC error. This is not valid. I'll put it into comments. Again, if you say here, I am declaring one integer array, right, which is ARR is equal to new integer. I'm passing -5. In this case, it is actually not valid. The reason is -5 is a negative indexing that you have gone for. When you execute this code, and can you see you are getting negative array size exception. So here it is not valid. You will get this exception. Though it's not a compile time error. Why it is not a compile time error? It is not JavaC error, but it is a runtime exception. Why? It is because compiler के लिए -5 is also a number. तो कंपाइलर को क्या लगेगा, ओके यूजर ने यहाँ पे इंट लिखा है, एरे लिखा है, ARR लिखा है, न्यू इंट ऑफ -5 लिखा है, इट मींस व्हाट, मेरे कंपाइलर को ये लगेगा कि सिंटैक्टिकली करेक्ट है. So this is not going to give you Java C error, but it will give you a runtime exception, which is negative array size exception. ये exception कहाँ से आया, java.lang से आया. Let us check. java.lang, you have negative array size exception. There's a list of exception. I will talk about it later on. But can you see negative array size exception and check thrown if an application try to create an array with a negative size. Is it okay? Perfect. Next. Perfect. Next. If I'm saying I'm creating integer, maybe array of 5 is equal to maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. This is also valid. इसे हम normally बोलते हैं array initialization. And if you write array of 6 is equal to new int of this, and if you pass some element to it, this is also valid. Right? It means if you're writing an array integer, passing some elements, you do not have to mention the size. If you are saying I want to create an array, you have not specified the size, you can specify the elements at the point of initialization only. This is also called as array is initialized at the time of declaration. But if you say I'm passing one array and I'm saying new integer of 3 elements, and along with that I am also passing the elements, it is invalid. This is not allowed. या तो आप array का size mention करो, या तो आप array का size mention करो and elements नहीं specify करो, या फिर अगर आपने size mention नहीं किया है array का, तो आप direct elements बता सकते हो. The array size and the elements both are not okay. Are we okay? Have you understood up to this point the valid and invalid declarations? Right. Now, let us go ahead with another example, or we can work now on arrays. As you know, that's what I've said. C में कुछ चीजें valid थी, Java में नहीं है. तो आपको वो language feature याद रखना पड़ेगा. Is it okay? That's a language feature. Obviously, the language is different. Then you have to remember few things. C में आपको garbage value concept था, यहाँ पे वो भी concept नहीं है. इसलिए जैसे आपने array size mention किया है, तो in that case आपको उतने elements pass करने पड़ेंगे. Again, there is no size of operator in you can say Java, Tushar. So I request do not mix the concept. Size of operator is not there in Java, क्योंकि in Java में हमेशा ARR1 and square bracket दिया, तो that will be treated as one reference variable. तो सिर्फ reference को जितना memory लगता है उतना ही दिखेगा. The reference points to another memory location, which is a heap area, which is dynamic in nature. Are you getting? Right. Perfect. Unkar is again asking me the same question. Please listen. Whenever I am saying this is invalid because my language is not supporting this, you cannot write like this, though it was allowed in C. Obviously, every language is having their own features. Array size is 6. You can keep 4 elements, but you cannot go beyond that. Okay? Shall I proceed? Again, if you are saying, I have an array of 5 elements, and if you're storing 5, 3, 8, what about remaining 2 elements? वो memory allocate ही नहीं होगा ना, तो initialize कैसे होगा? Guys, it is not a static allocation, it is dynamic allocation. The memory is allocated at runtime. Are you okay? Are you there? Understanding the difference between static and dynamic memory allocation? So do not say here it will be 0 and 0. No. ठीक है? It is not even null. The reason is dynamic memory allocation means memory कहाँ पे allocate होगा? Heap में होगा. Heap में कब allocate होगा? जब आप उसे use करोगे ना. तो अगर मैंने 5 एलिमेंट्स दिया है तो 3 एलिमेंट्स यूज करें तो 3 ही allocation होगा, 2 नहीं होगा. That's how it is. Okay? That's what is the major difference between static and dynamic memory allocation. As in, when I require, the memory will be allocated. Shall we proceed? Perfect. Let us say I'm declaring one array is equal to new integer of 3 or 4 elements. Correct? I'm just trying to print here array of 0, system.out.println, array of 1, system.out.println, array of 2, and array of 3. I'll just execute. Can you see this? Everyone? Right. So it means when you have said, I need 4 elements of type integer, it is array of 0, 1, 2, 3. In this case, you are getting all the fields initially as 0. Why? Because the array is of type integer. Right. So instead of me printing the data one after the another, can I quickly write a for loop? For integer I equal to 0, I less than 4, I plus plus. And I can just write array of I plus slash t. In Java, for के अंदर int I declare किया, it's a valid syntax, right? In this case, here, I'll put print. Are you able to understand this output and this for loop? Everyone. Perfect. Now, instead of me creating another project, I will create here another program. I'll just copy this. Where I wish to accept the data in an array from user. So I'll say system.out.println, enter array elements. I wish to accept the data. To accept the data from the user, do you know which class you go for? Scanner class. So can I say I will require scanner class as system.in, and obviously I have to import java.util.scanner. Correct? I have to accept 4 elements. So I'll say I0, I less than 4, I plus plus. Can I write array of I is equal to sc.nextInt? So this will go 4 times and put the data in my array elements. Next, I want to print the data. The way you have seen in other programming languages, you can go in the similar fashion. Here, instead of writing sc.nextInt, can I just write system.out.print system.out.print. When you say print, it is going to print on the same line. What I want to print, array of I, plus I'll say slash t will put a tab space in between. So it's asking few elements, 5170. Can you see this? Is it okay? All right. Any questions so far? Is it similar? Is it exactly similar to the things that you have seen into the last class, into your normal arrays? Right, only the functions changes. Next, if I want to go for a float array, so I'll go for float, maybe FARR is equal to new float, and I'll say 4. What will be the change? I'll just copy this data. I'll paste it over here. Enter the array elements int type. So you will accept sc.nextInt. Enter the array elements. Which type? Float type. So here, instead of nextInt, I'll go for float. Instead of array, I'll say farray. Right? I have to print these array elements. I'll print these array elements. I'll say system.out.println, which will print one new line. And I want to print farray. Rest, all things will be same. So we are taking some integer data 10, 20, 30, and 40. Maybe I'm saying 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. Are we okay? Yes or no? Perfect. Now, let me go ahead. It's easy and you all have done this course. I'll just copy this once again. Here, I'll say I want to accept the array elements of type integer. So I have accepted it using the for loop. Now, I want to print the array elements. But here in Java, you have something called as advanced for loop, which is easy to understand and easy to write. I want everyone, please concentrate onto this, because in the case of collection, we will see, you can say, this advanced for loop many times. So here I'll say, for each integer element inside my array, just print the element. That's it. I'll explain. Do not worry. Let us first observe the output. I'm saying 11, 22, 33, and 44. Is the output is same with this advanced for loop? Yes. Now let us understand what I have written within the for loop. First of all, have I declared any initialization variable? Integer I equal to 0, I less than something? No. That's the reason it is easy to write. You do not have to maintain the indexing. Advanced for loop, what it does, it prints the complete collection from start to end. That is why we go for advanced for loop. Means अगर आपको किसी भी collection में, maybe array collection है, 1D array है, 2D array है, gradually you will see array list, you may see linked list, you may see hash table, hashing or preset, set, many collections are there in Java. When you want to display the complete collection from start to end, you will go for advanced for loop. Why? Because it is easy to write. Now let us understand how I have written this. The way we speak out for each element ELE of type integer inside the array ARR, please print the each element ELE. I'll wait over here, read it. How do I use this for loop? For, I've used for. Each element ELE, you can give any name, जैसे आप indexing लिखते हो, for each I. Of type integer, inside the array ARR, give the colon and ARR. Please print each the element. So I'm printing the each element. Is it easy? I'll wait, read it and understand. So how it goes? It goes as, पहले element में जाएगा ARR of 0. Second element will have ARR of 1. Third element will have ARR of 2. Fourth element will have ARR of 3. And it is going to print the data. Means element will hold ARR of 0 till element will go up to ARR of n minus 1 location. So it travels from the start to end on its own and prints the data. Check this out. Element is just a variable name. You can replace with I and so on. Is it okay? I'll wait, read this. Perfect. So let us assume I'll go for double variable. Or maybe I'll go for a float array, not to worry. You cannot take input using advanced for each loop. That's what I have mentioned and that's what I have written. Can you please read it once again? When to go for advanced for loop? Okay. ठीक है. Next. Everyone, quickly tell me, in this case, can you please tell me, line number 8, is it a valid syntax? No. Why? Because you have not mentioned the size. So will it go in the infinite way? नहीं, यहाँ पे compile time error है. Right? I hope it is clear. You cannot have an array without specifying the size. Suppose I'm saying n. I'm declaring integer n. And I'm saying system.out.println. Enter the number of elements you wish to insert in an array. Again, can I write scanner sc is equal to new scanner system.in? And can I accept this n from the user by writing n is equal to sc.nextInt? So first, the user will insert the data. I want to go for 4 elements. array size will be initialized dynamically. For how many elements? 4 elements. Are we okay? जैसे आप malloc use करते थे. The same is case happening over here. Right? ठीक है. I'll just take these elements first. I'll copy this float wala. Enter the elements. So I'll go for I less than n, f of array of I, sc dot next float. Right? यहाँ तक समझ में आया? Everyone? I want to display the data. Array elements are. Quickly tell me. I want to use a for each loop. I want everyone to please practice it. For. पहला bracket में क्या आना चाहिए? For each float variable f inside my array FARR, I just want to print f value. I hope you are okay with this. Is it easy and better than for I equal to 0 and so on? Of course, yes. Let's execute. It is asking me how many elements you wish to insert in an array. I'm saying 5. It's asking me to enter the elements 2.5, 3.5, 6.7, 8.9, and 1.2. Can you see this? Everyone? It is expecting 5 elements. It's your duty to enter the 5 elements. Right? Is it a dynamic allocation? Of course, yes. I wait over here to look into the code. If you have doubts, please ask me. Otherwise, we can proceed. Okay. Shall I go ahead? F is just like an index or element. Internally, यहाँ पे I क्या रहेगा? First, I will hold F array of 0th element. Next, I will hold F array of first element. And it will go up to I will hold F array of n minus 1. ठीक है? Is it okay? Either you write I or you write F and so on. Scanner class is present in java.util package. Store नहीं करेंगे. यहाँ पे store नहीं हो रही है. It is iterating through your complete collection one by one. So advanced for loop is used for printing your data from start to end, and it is not going to store the data. एक बार वो iteration हुआ, then job is done. Traversing. Right. Again, can you see here? I have used print function. My data is printed on one single line. अगर मैं यहाँ पे print ln लिखती थी तो वो new line देता था. Okay. I have repeated 3 times. Please read it. It is used for, I'll just write, for traversing the complete collection from start to end. अगर elements ही नहीं रहेंगे तो आप traverse कर सकते हो क्या? नहीं. तो मेरे पास read करने के लिए elements ही नहीं है तो मैं advanced for loop नहीं use करूंगी. Is it okay? Is it okay? अरे traverse कब करोगे आप collection में? जब उसमें elements रहेंगे ना. So you cannot use this loop in the reading. You have to go for advanced for loop in, you can say, while just printing the data, iterating through the data. For each element I of type float inside the array FARR, please print the element I. I've given you exact definition and exact meaning of for each loop, like a complete when to go for and how to write this for loop. Are you okay now? Read this. It is. I hope the screen is visible. The font is also visible, and you can see the code at your end too. Is it so difficult to understand? Is it difficult to understand? I'm trying my best to make it simplified. Practice is required. That's true. Without practice, you cannot go ahead in Java and everyday practice. Shall I proceed? everyone? ठीक है, good. I'll go ahead with day 5_7. Let us say I'm declaring one integer array is equal to new integer of 5 elements or maybe 4 elements. Now, I want to accept the array elements and display the array elements. Or let us say I have one A array and I have one B array. At this moment, when I'm saying I have two different arrays, I want to accept the data and display the data. So can I say for accepting, I have to write a for loop and accept the data? Once again, I have to write accept for loop and again the data. And then when I want to display, again, I have to repeat the code. To avoid the repetition of a code, what topic you go for? If you want to avoid the repetition of a code, you write a function. Do you agree? Right. So here I'll write accept ARR as a function name and I'll pass A. Again, accept array function B, array B. When I want to display array, I'll say function A and I'll say display array. Maybe it will display my array B. Can I say I have to define accept and display function in my program to avoid repetition of a code? Correct. Now, in this case, I have called a main function. Within the main, I have called accept and display array. Before calling, have I specified the function? Have I defined the function? No. It's my duty as a developer to develop the code and the function definition. Can you read the error? The method accept array int is undefined. The method display array is undefined. Is it giving me a quick fix available? It says create a method accept array of integer. So I am clicking this. I'll just cut over here and put it in the here. Can you see it has created a static method accept array accepting one array? Yes or no? Let us say I'm writing ARR. Once again, display. Is it giving me create a method display? Yes, it is giving me a quick fix available. I'm fixing it by having a function definition or displaying the array. Are we okay? Did you all understand? Right. What shall I write over here? The same code which we have written in 5_6. What was the code for accepting the elements? I'll just say use a for loop. So here, system.out.println, enter array elements. I'll go for scanner class. SC is equal to new scanner system.in. For scanner class, you import java.util. And maybe I want to go for 4 elements. I'll go for 4. And my array name is this. It is next int. Are we okay? So पहली बार it is going to accept the array A data. For the second time, it is going to accept B array data. When I say I want to display, can I go for each loop? For each integer, maybe element inside the array system.out.println, I want to print each element with the tab sign. And here I'll put array elements are. Are we okay? Did you all understand the code? This topic is nothing but array and function. Let's execute this code. It's asking the array elements. For 4 elements will be accepted for array A. So I'm passing 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, it is asking me enter the next element. Maybe I'm saying 7, 8, 9, and 10. Are you able to see? 1, 2, 3, 4 आया, फिर 7, 8, 9, 10 आया. 2 बार array elements print हुआ. I shall put here /n. So it will work fine. Any questions so far? No. Shall I proceed? ठीक है. I'll just copy this code and paste it over here. 5_8. Everyone, please tell me quickly, what will be there in A? A में क्या है? Guys, array name is nothing but a base address. जिसे जावा में आप क्या बोलते हो? Base address. Base address is nothing but a base address. जिसे जावा में आप क्या बोलते हो? Base address is nothing but a base address. जिसे जावा में आप क्या बोलते हो? Base address is nothing but a base address. जिसे जावा में आप क्या बोलते हो? Base address is nothing but a base address. Are we okay? Do you remember this? Reference. ठीक है. Good. Next. Is it the actual argument that I'm passing? Right. Good. Next. When I have given a function call, a का reference क्या मैं integer ARR में copy कर रही हूँ? Is it a formal argument? इस concept को हम क्या बोलेंगे? I've taught you. Can I say it is a reference copy? I've got only one correct answer. Reference copy. Have I taught the concept of reference copy? Have I taught the concept of reference copy? Still few students are saying no. I wonder. Employee E1 is equal to new employee. Employee E2 is equal to E1. What exactly it is? It's a reference copy. ठीक है. You need a good practice and a revision then. So, is it a reference copy? तो पहले A का पूरा रेफरेंस ARR में जाएगा, वही एरे में यहाँ पे डेटा ट्रैवल होगा. फिर से B का रेफरेंस इस ARR में ही जाएगा as a call by reference value and it is going to display the data. It's simple function calling concept. Correct? Let me proceed. I'll refactor it and rename. It is 5_8. Suppose in this case, I'm writing integer array and I'm saying null. Here also I'm saying null. Can I say array A and array B both are null? Right. So it is not a compile time error. But when I am writing here A, it means it will go as a null over here. Correct? So let us try to first execute. It will display enter the array elements. But when I try to see array of 0, do I have an array of 0 right now? No, it is null. If I try to enter the elements, is it throwing null pointer exception? Correct. Why it have thrown me null pointer exception? It is because my array was null. So what has happened at this case is, अगर मेरा array null है, function call तो हो रहा है, लेकिन function में जब आप null reference के ऊपर sc.nextInt method को call कर रहे हो, it is not finding that location. That's why it is throwing you null pointer exception. Right? So what can be the solution over here? You can put a condition. If array is not equal to null, then only please perform this job. Else you can put a message, array is null. Did you all get what I have made a change over here? Before accepting the elements, I'm just checking a condition. Again, अगर मेरा array null नहीं है, तो ही मेरा data accept होगा, otherwise वो message display करेगा. अगर मेरा array null नहीं है, तो ही वो display में जाना चाहिए. That means, can I copy this line? If my array is not equal to null, then only please do this job for us. I'll close this and if. Are we okay? So here I'll write the else part too. Let's execute. You can initialize it. Can you see for all the 4 function it is saying array is null, array is null, array is null? Yes, because except function call हुआ, condition fail हुआ, it has displayed this. Display function, except function call हुआ, condition got failed, it went into else. Display function got called, array was null, it has displayed this. Display function was called, array was null, so it has displayed this. So whenever you are accepting the data in an array, you can always check a condition. If array is not null, then only perform the job. Why we have done so? Because I want to avoid which exception? Null pointer exception. Let's check null pointer exception one more time. Do you remember first 2 lines? I have said it is basically with respect to object. When I will come to the array, I will also come to these next 2 points. Taking the length of null as if it were an array, accessing and modifying the slots of null as if it were an array. If these two condition occurs, it will throw null pointer exception. Are you now okay with these 4 lines of explanation? कुछ समझ में आया? Gradually how I am proceeding into core Java details. Okay, shall we go ahead? All right. Point number 3 and 4. Read it. Is it now understood easily कि ये भी explain करना चाहिए मुझे? Or are you getting this? First I've proved, then I'm showing you the points. Getting. Got it. Perfect. Are you understanding? At least post some feedback. Something is reaching to you. You're learning something new. And is it getting useful to you? Only yes. Okay. Good. But need a practice, and that's true. कोई भी लैंग्वेज अगर सीखना है तो प्रैक्टिस इज रिक्वायर्ड. All right. Let me create a new project. Day 5_9. I'm creating different types of arrays. So let us say I'll first create a Boolean array. Maybe B1 is equal to new Boolean of 3 elements. And I'm creating, this is array, right? Next, I'm creating one integer array A1 is equal to new integer of 3 elements. We are creating a float array, maybe F1 is equal to new float of 3 elements. Let us create a double D1 is equal to new double of 3 elements. And now, right, now let us try to just print B1, A1, F1 and D1. If you can think little bit, can you just guess the output? Can you just guess the output? It is going to give you 4 hash codes. Perfect. Let us execute. Can you see, for Boolean, it have given me this as the hash code. For integer, it have given me this as the hash code. And for me, as a float array, it is giving you this. And for double, it is giving you a hash code as this. Now, why it has given hash code? It is because here, when you say new Boolean, internally, it is one object of 3 elements. Here also, object of 3 elements of type int, object of 3 elements of type float, object of 3 elements of type double. Correct? Please understand. अगर मैं ये बोलती हूँ object of 3 memory allocation है, it is going to receive the memory in the heap area. And this object is pointed by the reference B1, A1, F1 and D1. So when you try to print any array of primitive type B1, A1, F1 and D1, it is going to give internally a call to B1.toString. क्योंकि जब भी हैश कोड डिस्प्ले होता है तो बैकग्राउंड में कौन सा मेथड कॉल होता है? toString. From which class? From the object class. So now D1.toString. So please understand, this you can easily understand @hash code, @hash code, @hash code, @hash code. But why it has given me Z? It is a predefined, you can say, name given to the Boolean wrapper class. It is a predefined I is a name given to the wrapper class integer. It is giving F to the float as a wrapper class. D, it is basically having a concept called as D as a double wrapper class. I will come to the point. Hold on, let me complete. Can I say this Boolean, new Boolean of 3, is it an array? Yes. Is it a single dimensional array? Yes. So here it is going to have a single dimensional array के लिए a single square brackets. So my compiler will understand what this object is all about. A concise information about the object is it is a single dimensional array who can hold this Boolean value which is stored at the heap memory allocation, this one. It's a single dimensional array who can hold the integer type of a value at the rate this particular location. Right. Next. As everyone is observing, quickly tell me, when I write Boolean, when I write int, when I write float, when I write double, all these comes under which category? They all come under primitive type, P type. Perfect. They all come under P type category. So when you say P type category, is it nothing but the value type? Yes. But in the background, you are saying that this B1, A1, F1 and D1, they all are reference variable. Means behind the scene, Java compiler automatically converts your P type to NP type, which is basically getting converted into Boolean, which is basically getting converted into integer object. Here it is float object and here it is double object. Now tell me, Boolean is of P type or of NP type? It is of NP type. And here it is also of NP type. Here also it is of NP type. Here also it is of NP type. So whenever you create the array of primitive data types, it automatically gets converted in the non-primitive type because Java में there is no concept of pointer. References के साथ treat करना है तो P to NP conversion must be done. When you say P to NP, तो उस conversion को हम क्या बोलते हैं? That concept is called as primitive to non-primitive. Do you remember primitive to non-primitive? I hope you remember. Somewhere in day 3. I've taken some example in day 3, right? Let me just go here. Can you see primitive to non-primitive? It is boxing, correct? Perfect. So this is boxing. But can I say here P to NP conversion is done implicitly by compiler and it is done automatically. So उसे हम बोलते हैं auto boxing. Okay. Did you understand what is auto boxing now? Someone have asked me that day, ma'am, what is auto boxing and auto unboxing? So I have given you the meaning of auto boxing. Any doubts so far? No. Shall I proceed? Shall I proceed? ठीक है. Good. Let us take another example. Suppose I am going for the same array. Right. Next. In this case, let us have one, you can say for each loop. But before that, in java.util package, let me go to java.util, right? In java.util, you have something called as arrays class. How I've gone? I've gone to java.util package and I've gone to arrays class, correct? Class arrays is extending from the object. Next, please observe this class contains various methods for manipulating the arrays, such as sorting and searching. So, if you have any array and if you want to perform some operations in an array, then you can easily go for arrays class. I'll go for different methods, but before that, let me show you the methods. Can you see binary search? आपने data structure में कहीं तो सुना था binary search? Right, it's ready-madely available. Next, there are different variations of binary search. Searching आप byte array, integer array, character array कहीं पे भी कोई भी type of array में कर सकते हो, इसलिए there is binary search taking different variations. Okay. There is copy of, which is basically used to copy the contents. There is copy of range. I have to start from some location, end to another location, and I want to copy some data. There is something called as fill. There is something called as sort also. Can you see sort? Sort method. It is directly going to sort your array according to the ascending numerical order, right? And there is a toString method. Can you see variation of toString? Okay. Now, let us say I have created one integer array is equal to new integer. I'm passing 10, 20, 30, and 40, and 50. Or maybe I'll pass some random data so that you can sort it also. Okay, so this is my array elements. Now I'm trying to show you some ways via which you can print this array. So I'll just write here printing array using normal for loop. So how do you go for each integer I equal to 0, I less than 4, and I plus plus, I less than 5, I plus plus. And I'll say system.out.print. Maybe I'll print a of I and plus slash t. Is this the first way? Is it okay? Right. Next. Please do not go ahead of the topic. I have mentioned clearly कि मैं arrays class के methods आपको बताऊंगी. So please have patience. Next. I'm saying once again, printing the array using advanced for loop. Right? So I'll go for each integer I or any element inside the array A, I want to print element. Correct? So when you try to execute, are you able to understand up to this point? Yes or no? Everyone. Next point. If I say printing each element individually, that is also okay. You will say system.out.println array of 0, which is very tedious job, but let me just write it over here, plus slash t. Again, you will just write here so which is 1, which is 2, which is 3, and 4, right? So it is going to print everything on one line, and after that I'm saying println. Are we okay? Correct. Next. So there are different ways via which you can print the array. Now, before proceeding ahead, suppose I have class test and I am not having toString in this class test. Class test is having object as a superclass, so it is having toString. Correct? Next, suppose I have class test which is having a toString. Correct? Can you please tell me if I create a test t obj is equal to new test, and when I try to print this t object, then toString method will be called from which class? from the object class. And what about this scenario? As everyone know, it will be called from this class. Good. That means you remember few concepts. Perfect. Now, in case of Java, if I write system.out.println, I'll just try to print the elements using toString method from arrays class. So in java.util.arrays, java.util and classes are arrays, you have a method which is called as toString. So there are different variations of toString that are here, but I'm right now dealing with integer type of an array. So I'll just take this. If you see here, there's a toString method. Is it a static? Yes. In which class? Arrays class. So can I say I have to write system.out.println arrays dot toString and bracket में I'll pass name of an array. Do you agree? Yes or no? Right. Now observe what the definition says. What's the return type? String. It returns a string representation of the content of the specified array. Currently, what are the content in my array? Currently, I have total 5 elements in my array, so it is going to print those array. But how that string is going to be represented? Let us read it. The string representation consists of list of array elements enclosed in a square bracket. Adjacent elements are separated by comma and the space. Right? So, check this out. I am trying to execute this code once again and observe the output of line number 31. Okay? These are the different ways via which you can print the array elements. Choice is completely based on you. But here, these are the ways. Okay? Are we okay? Good. Shall we go ahead? Good. So, we have tried to create an array, arrays class, arrays.toString. Correct? Now, let me take few functions of arrays class and then we can go ahead with another, you can say, examples. This is an array. I'm just trying to print the array using advanced for loop or maybe using arrays.toString. That's it. Right? I'll remove all the other codes. So printing the array elements using this. It's working fine. Perfect. Now, I want to use different functions of arrays class. So we will see methods of arrays class. Someone was asking me about the methods. So let us work on few. I'll say we'll go for sort method. Is it a static method? Yes. What's the return type? Void. Let us try to sort it. So I'll just say arrays.sort bracket में I'll pass k. Let us try to print this array once again. Is my array sorted? Just one line of a code and the things are sorted. Okay. So you can say here, this is like before sorting and maybe you can say after sorting. Correct? Next. Now my array is sorted. I want to go for binary search. And I hope you know that whenever you go for a binary search, the array must be initially sorted. So I'll say binary search. I'll pass integer data. I'll pass integer array and I'll pass k. It is going to return me int value. That means it is going to return me an index value. So can I say integer index is equal to arrays dot binary search. I want to pass one array A, and let us say I'm passing the element 240. So I'll just say system.out.println. Let us try to print index. So I'll pass index. Let's execute. Can you see it is giving me index as 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Just a single line of a code and you are getting the binary search output. That is called as calling the methods or using the APIs. कुछ समझ में आया? Right. Someone is asking, can we sort in descending order? For that, you have to write a logic. Is it okay? All right. Next, there is a method which is copy of from original to the new length, or maybe you have something called as copy the range from first element to the last whatever element. So if you see here copy of range, it returns an integer array. Can you see? You can range copy करना है तो वो single element नहीं रहेगा, more than one element. तो वो copy भी next new array में ही बनाएगा. I want to pass from and I want to pass to. So you can easily go for, let us say, I'm declaring one destination array which is equal to arrays dot copy of range. I'm passing a array and I want to pass maybe from second element till the fourth element. And I want to print this destination array. Let us observe. Destination array. Can you see this? Everyone, from second index till the fourth means second and third is getting copied. All right. Let's check. Do we have a reverse function? R. RST. R is here. So the methods, usage of methods is completely based on you, whether to use those methods and how to use those methods. We do not have a reverse. Can you see? No, we do not have a reverse function. जो function available रहेगा वही आपको use करना है. That's how it is. Okay? Correct. Shall I go ahead? Right. So till this point, we have created an array of primitive type, non-primitive type, and we have seen 4. अगर आपने array index 2 to 4 कहा तो second and third 4 minus 1 तक ही जाएगा ना? Right. Perfect. So we have created the array of int type, integer type, calling the functions and arrays and so on. Correct? So now let us go ahead to create array of references, and that too of non-primitive type. Suppose I'm saying class employee, which is having maybe string name and integer ID and something float salary. Here I'll just specify one constructor, which is empty constructor. I'll specify one parameterized constructor. And we can say this dot name is equal to name. This dot ID is equal to ID. And this dot salary is equal to salary. That's it. Let us have one toString method so that we can easily display the records. Source generate toString. I want to print all the fields, so toString is generated. Are you okay with this class? Right. Now, I'm saying we are creating one employee E array is equal to new employee of 3 employees. At this moment, whenever you are saying employee E is equal to new employee, and let me just try to print E of 0, E of 1, and E of 2. Right? Let us execute. Can you see I'm getting null? Why I'm getting null? It is because at this moment, whenever you are saying employee E is equal to new employee. So let me just draw the diagram. Here, E is an array. So can I say here, E will be first created, which is going to point to three different objects of type employee. So this is first, this is second, and third. Do you agree, everyone? So here, this will be E. It is a reference variable of type employee, will get the space in the stack area. Next, this is again new employee kaha. This is E of 0, E of 1, E of 2. All these are just initially references which are created. I will say here, this is array of references. The reason behind that is, अब तक आपने यहाँ पे, suppose I'm writing int a array is equal to new int of 3. So in that case, please tell me, यहाँ पे a array create होता है and 3 memory allocations होती है. तो please quickly tell me, यहाँ पे जो 3 values 3 memory allocations होने वाली है, वो कौन से टाइप की होने वाली है? Value type और reference type? This will be of which type? Guys, this will be of value type. Do you agree? क्योंकि int कहा है मैंने, so it can hold direct values. Do you agree? But here, when I have said new employee, तो ये data type, ये कौन से type का data refer कर रहा है? Is it of value type or is it of a reference type? It is of reference type. ये जो भी data रहेगा वो reference type का रहेगा. At this moment, can I say this is one array of references who is holding a hash code like this? Are you getting the difference between this diagram and this diagram? यहाँ पे मैंने directly कहा है of type int, तो ये value store कर सकता है. यहाँ पे मैंने कहा है it is of employee of 3 type. It is a reference type because employee is not a primitive type, it is a non-primitive type. So by default, when I have created object of employee E, तो इन तीनों reference को क्या value मिलता है? Reference gets initialized initially by null. Null and null. Did you all get up to this point, everyone? I'll just save this. This is called as array of references. Now, if I'm saying system.out.println E of 0 dot toString, क्या आएगा आउटपुट? आउटपुट क्या आएगा? E of 0 में क्या है? नल. नल के ऊपर आपने toString कॉल किया है. Is it going to throw you null pointer exception? Are you okay? Means till the point I am not going to assign E of 0 is equal to new employee, तब तक क्या मुझे memory allocation होने वाला है क्या? नहीं. And if I say I have allocated a memory, am I getting this data? Have you all understood up to this point? Right? Next, I'm saying E of 0, name, ID, and salary. So I'll just assign now. So initially it was a null. Now let me assign E of 0 में first name EMP1, ID is 123, and salary is, let us say, 50,000. Similarly, E of 1 I need to allocate, and E of 2 I need to allocate. So I'll say E of 0, E of 1, E of 2. New employee, EMP1, EMP2, EMP3. I'm just changing some ID, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8, and 9. Maybe here I'll assign 70,000, here I'll assign 60,000. Can I say at this moment, now all the objects are assigned with some values, and now my toString will work absolutely fine for us? Right? So what has happened over here? I will just copy this data. Whenever you are saying E of 0 is equal to new employee, one object will get created that is anonymous. Uska data reference you're putting into E of 0. Then you are creating another object. Uska data you're putting it into E of 1. Next, EMP3, you are putting into next reference, right? So behind the scene, how this is getting treated, let me just say, as soon as I'm saying new employee, so one object will get created, which is going to hold three values. मैं object पहले vertical में draw कर रही थी, यहाँ पे सिर्फ horizontal में draw कर रही हूँ because of the space. So first field, second field, and the third field. The first field will hold EMP1. This will be 1, 2, 3, and what I have assigned, which is 50,000. Right? Next, one more time, I'm saying let this object be allocated to E of 0. Means can I say now this connection will be made. And what will happen because of this connection? Because of this, आपका यहाँ का जो hash code है वो जाएगा E of 0 में and it is going to hold this data. So this null will go off and E of 0 is going to get this. Have you understood how I have created array of references and how I have assigned to it? Hold on. One more time. Whenever I'm assigning another, you can say employee. So one more time, one more object will be created. This object is going to hold how many data elements? 3 data elements. What will be the data inside it? It will be EMP2, then is 456, and it is having some 70,000 value. I have assigned this object to E of 1. That means because of this, can I say this connection will be made? And because of this, यहाँ का जो hash code है will be copied over here and this is going to hold this reference. And this reference, this null will go off. One more time, when I have said one more object is created, again E of 2 will be created. In this case, the 3 fields are getting initialized because of the constructor. And in this case, the 3 values will be EMP3, it will be 7, 8, and 9. And here it will be 60,000, right? Because of this null will go off and the connection will be made. Yahan ka hash code will be copied over here and this hash code will have this address allocation. And that's the reason we say because of this third object that we have created, we have assigned to E of 2, this connection will be made. And this concept here, I have created set of objects. तो इस concept को हम बोलते हैं array of instances or we say array of objects. The most commonly asked interview question is, what do you mean by array of references and what do you mean by array of object? Here also, they will receive the memory in the heap area. It can hold the data of type employee. Here also, they will get the space in the heap area and it can hold the data of type employee. Have you now understood the diagram and the program? Everyone. Yes or no? Array of structure जैसे आपने C में किया था, ये वैसे ही treat हो रहा है. Perfect. Is the output is understood by everyone? Perfect. Good. Now, let us say I'll change a little bit of main now. Just for displaying purpose. आपको पता है हम array को display करने के लिए simple for loop use कर सकते हैं. For array to be displayed, we can use individual element like E of 0, E of 1, and so on. For printing the array elements, you can go for arrays.toString method. And for displaying the array, you can also go for array, advanced for loop, right? Now let us understand advanced for loop कैसे detail में हमें help करता है. But why we normally go for advanced for loop? Let us understand. Suppose I've created employee E having 3 elements. So definitely I'll allocate some memory. Without memory allocation, it will give us null pointer exception. That is true. Next, if you want to accept the employee elements, display the records, go ahead with user-defined functionalities. If you want to add some elements into it, you can go for it. But right now, I've just created 3 objects with 3 fields in each. I want to print the employee records using for each. जिसे हम for each loop बोलते हैं. So for each loop मतलब advanced for loop. Let us observe. I'll say for each employee, maybe EMP, inside my array E, system.out.println EMP. Can you see the output? कोई भी इंडेक्स लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है, ना ही arrays डॉट टू स्ट्रिंग लगाने की जरूरत है, ना ही मुझे e of 0 डॉट टू स्ट्रिंग लिखने की जरूरत है. I have just traversed in my collection of array from the first location till the last location using the for each loop. So how this will be treated? Initially, you can just write here any variable name. That's okay. So here, emp will first hold e of 0. Then emp will hold e of 1. emp will hold e of 2. Is there any other object? No. So it will just print 3 records. Is it easy to go for using for each loop? कुछ समझ में आया? Good. Any more doubts? Because I'll not work, you can say, start with enum today because of the time limit. But yes, I want everyone to go ahead with this. Okay, I'll explain this once again. I want to print all the records of the employee starting from the first location till the last. So instead of me writing for each loop or for integer for loop in a detail, or me writing arrays.toString method again, I have used for each. Here, for each emp of type employee inside the array e, just print emp. अभी समझ में आया? Whatever I am spelling out, that's what I'm writing in the for each loop. You just have to follow the syntax. जैसे आपने for each integer element in array a लिखा था, वैसे यहाँ पे मैंने for each employee object emp. तो जब आपको क्योंकि अगर आप यहाँ पे for I equal to लिखते थे, तो फिर से I equal to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus, फिर आप फिर से arrays dot to string लिखते थे, फिर और आपको अगर डिफरेंट वे चाहिए तो you have used e of 0 dot to string. To avoid all that, I know this is my array of instances. I want to traverse from first to last. It will automatically travel through your whole object and printing the to string for you. तो emp में पहले कौन जाएगा? e of 0, because that's the first object. emp में second will go as e of 1. emp में third will go as e of 2. Are you okay up to this point? Guys, if you say e of 0 लिखा, this is a wrong syntax. Right hand side में array का नाम होना चाहिए. e of 0 is not an array. E is my array. Name of an array in which you want to travel. Is it okay? Right. Shall I give you one practice example? ठीक है. So I have a student class where I'm having, let me think on it. Okay. I'm having name. I'm having student email ID. I'm having student roll number. And I'm having student date of birth. But here, what I need is, I need a string name. I need a string email. I need an integer roll number. But here, I need a date class object, date of birth. I hope you remember this example. I have taken the same example with the employee and the date class. याद है कुछ? Concept of association. Yes or no? Correct. But what I need over here is, here, point number 1, accept the student record. So then display the student record. This I want. But here, I want to go for create an array of 5 students. Is it okay? So you will have to create 5 student record where it will have all the fields together, except the student record, and display the student records. Because it's 5, so there will be 5 records. Will you be able to do this as a practice question too? Practice question based on array. Everyone. So 2 days, 2 practice questions. At least you can do 1 tomorrow and 1 on Sunday. But if you do that, तो आपके last 5 days का जितने सारे concept है वो सारे clear हो जाएंगे. And if you want me to add some more information, here you can have the institute name or college name, and I need this field as static. ठीक है, तो आपका static का भी concept clear हो जाएगा. This is optional. अगर आपको चाहिए तो आप practice कर सकते हो. This is optional. But the one which I have given you, the initial part, that is to be done compulsory. Is it okay? All right. So if you can observe array introduction, we have seen what is array declaration and initialization in C. In C में आपको पता है, I've just given some basic example. Here I have given you array in Java. We have seen single dimensional array today. On Monday, we will see multidimensional and wrapped array. We have seen java.util arrays class. We have seen how to go for single dimensional array. At what point you will get the exception, negative array size exception. How the memory is allocated into the stack and the heap area. What do you mean? You can use a length function if you want to find the size of an array. That is one length function. There's something called as a toString method. I've covered these example. You create an array and print this using a toString. Hash code. We have seen array index out of bound exception. It means if you just go beyond the length, maybe you give some -1, maybe you give array of 7th element, but you have only 5 element. It always gives you array index out of bounds exception. आपको याद है कमांड लाइन आर्ग्यूमेंट में भी हमने यही एक्सेप्शन देखा था. इट इज बिकॉज अगर आपका array एक्सपेक्टेड है एलिमेंट्स इंसर्ट करने के लिए, in that case you were not supplying any command line argument. At that moment also we have received this type of exception. There's one more exception, array store. This I will cover on Monday. We have seen how to sort array elements. What do you mean by reference copy and object copy? I've given you example of reference copy that day itself. Then we have seen array of primitive values. We have seen array of primitive values are treated like this. I've just drawn the diagram stack and the heap area. We have seen array of references. When you create the object of one class, and at that moment, you can say that is one single object. But when you say array of references, it means you create the object of a class as an array. And that concept is called as array of references and array of objects. So I've given you the difference between what is array of references and what is array of instances. You can quickly go through these slides up to slide number 23. From slide number 24, we will start on Monday. Is it okay, everyone? All right. So I hope in these last 5 days, whatever I have covered, I am assuming that you have understood the things